Here are the top stories for today, December 10, 2019. The PNP vows to arrest more than 80 more suspects in the Maguindanao massacre who remain at large. President Duterte says he refuses to compromise with Maynilad and Manila Water over their alleged onerous water concession deals. Malacanang slams the granting of political asylum by the United States to a Filipino couple critical of the Duterte administration. And the Comelec announces the renaming of Compostella Valley into Davao de Oro. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. The Philippine National Police has assured the families of the victims of the Maguindanao massacre that it is exhausting all efforts to arrest more than 80 suspects who remain at large. PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Bernard Banac said efforts are ongoing and being intensified for the arrest of suspects who are still at large. PNP OIC Lieutenant General Archie Francisco Gamboa has directed NCRPO Acting Director Brigadier General Debold Sinas to heighten security at the Quezon City Jail Annex in Camp Bagong Diwa for the scheduled promulgation of judgment of the case on December 19. Sinas said at least 120 members of the Regional Mobile Force Battalion clad in full battle gear were deployed in various facilities, including the entrance and exit points of the camp. The promulgation of judgment will involve the accused masterminds of the massacre, led by brothers former Datu Unsay Maguindanao Mayor Andal Ampatuan Jr. and former Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao Governor Zaldi Ampatuan. The family's patriarch, the late Maguindanao Governor Andal Sr., was also among the principal suspects but died in detention in July of 2015. The suspects were charged with multiple murders for planning and direct participation in the massacre in Sitio Masalay, Barangay Salman in Ampatuan Town, Maguindanao. Presidential Task Force on Media Security Executive Director Undersecretary Joel C. Egco earlier said there were 80 of the 197 accused who are still out there and have not yet been presented to the court in the last 10 years of the trial. How will I compromise? This was the question posed by President Rodrigo Duterte to the owners of Maynilad and Manila Water over the alleged onerous water concession agreements it entered into with government in 1997. The Permanent Court of Arbitration in Singapore has ordered the government to pay Maynilad about 3.6 billion pesos in damages for the company's losses over the refusal to implement tariff adjustment for 2013 to 2017. It also asked the government to pay 7.4 billion pesos to Manila Water as compensation for losses and damages from delayed water rate increases since 2015. Duterte earlier said he refused to pay the water concessionaires and threatened to jail them for making the government pay billions of pesos for damages.
Arigluhin natin. How? How will I compromise? That's plunder. That is the classic economic plunder. How can now I tell the people as president, arigluhin na lang natin to. Tell me. Tell me kung paano ko sabihin sa tao. Kaya gusto ko silang makausap. Hindi ito maariglohan ng hindi ko makausap yung mga concessionaire. Sige mong gusto ko harap ang abogado ng gobyerno na nagawa nitong kontratang ito. Kasi yung kontrata itself is a mirror of the anti-graft and corrupt practices law. Lahat ng anti-graft measure ng paggawa mo sa mo, nandyan sa kontrata. Ganun mo lang yan. Halos pareho na. I cannot imagine two administrations allowing our sovereignty to be bargained away.
President Duterte on Monday said he was satisfied with the performance of the armed forces of the Philippines and the Philippine National Police. During the oath-taking ng newly appointed AFP generals and flag officers and PNP star rank officers in Malacanang, President Duterte praised the performance of the AFP and the PNP. Earlier, he admitted that there are still errant police personnel. That is why he sought the public for more time to cleanse the agency. He also reminded military and police personnel to fight corruption within government even if he does not get to finish the end of his term in 2022.
Because I am quite happy with the performance of the armed forces and the police. And ang sa police lang, it needs to be corrected. There's always been a problem sa any administration for that matter. So give me time to move and correct. If I do not make it to the finish line at the end of my term, malawak pa yan eh. It's yung swerte ng tao, it's ordained by destiny. And if my destiny says that hanggang dyan lang ako, ba't hingiin ko lang sa inyo ito? Trilyon yan. Kaya ang hingiin ko sa military pati police, you are one of the pressure group ni democracy. The other one are the Congress. Pero huwag kayong pumayag na hindi ma-recover ng bayan ang ninakaw nila. Ba sinabi ko sa inyo noon, nung nagkakampanya ako, ang korupsyon dito sa taas, when I was going after the customs, sabi ko na dito, sa taas. Marami pa yan. Pero ito, andyan sa lahat, no need to interpret or to go into semantics.
The relaunching of the Pasig River ferry service is likely to succeed due to the increased support of the government. MMDA Chairman Danilo Lim said budgetary constraints, among others, hampered operations of the ferry service, but these have been addressed through the addition of new boats, equipment, and support from the government. He said one of the major problems in the past was the presence of water hyacinth or water lilies, which could damage the boats. The MMDA now has equipment to harvest these choke point plants. Aside from the procurement of new equipment, the existing stations of the Pasig River ferry service are under renovation, with the MMDA eyeing the addition of several new stations and boats. The Pasig River ferry service has 11 stations dotted along the coast of the Pasig River, and these are Pinagbuhatan, San Joaquin, Maybunga, Guadalupe, Valenzuela, Hulo, Lambingan, Santa Ana, PUP, Lawton, and Escolta. The ride is free until January 31st next year. The Philippine National Police is intensifying its crackdown against illegal firecrackers. And the Senate honors the Hero Cop in Misamis Oriental. More on these from Benj Banda.
The Philippine National Police will intensify its crackdown against illegal and dangerous firecrackers ahead of the Christmas and New Year holidays. PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Bernard Banak said this is in compliance with Executive Order 28 signed by President Rodrigo Duterte in 2017. Prohibited firecrackers include piccolo, watusi, giant whistle bomb, giant bawang, large Judas belt, super lolo, lolo thunder, boga, goodbye Philippines, among others. In other news, the Commission on Elections has set the hearing on the petition to cancel the registration of Duterte Youth Party List on December 18. The petitioners urged the poll body to cancel the accreditation of Duterte Youth as a party list organization for allegedly violating existing rules by making false statements in its petition, particularly on the eligibility of its overaged nominees and having no bona fide intention to represent the sector for which the petition has been filed, among others. Meanwhile, the Senate on Monday adopted a resolution commending Police Senior Master Sergeant Jason Magno for sacrificing his life to save the lives of students and teachers at the Initaw College in Misamis Oriental last November 28. In the said resolution, Senator Panfilo Lacson pointed out that had it not been for Magno's bravery, heroism, and instinct to save lives, students, teachers, as well as his fellow policemen would have perished on that fateful day. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondo.
Malacanang slams the granting of political asylum by the U.S. to a Filipino couple critical of the Duterte administration. A policeman in Agusan del Sur wanted for shooting his superior dies in a shootout after resisting arrest. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Dati kasi, nung before pa ako mag-ROTC, ako ay sabi pa ng mga guro ko dati nung high school, pasaway akong tao. Kahit always may bagsak ako, may sa values na education. Pero nung na-experience ko itong ROTC, mula pa sa labas hanggang pumasok ako sa academy, dito nagbago yung pananaw ko sa buhay. Good afternoon, sir. I am Vigiman Captain Paglinawan Louis M. And I'm 24 years old. And I am a first-class cadet from Philippine Merchant Marine Academy. Ang ROTC kasi na program, sir, ito ay isang magandang programa ng gobyerno. Dito sa mga younger generations, sa mga kabataan natin, ito ay nakapagbibigay ng, ito ay isang magandang experience para sa mga kabataan, nakapagbibigay ito ng disiplina sa sarili, yung leadership. Ito yung nabibuild din dito yung self-confidence, pati na yung patriotism mo, yung patriotic spirit mo, na love for your country, na maging isang responsableng mamamayan ng ating bansa.
A member of the European Union Parliament House vowed to help the Philippine government put a stop to the flow of financial support to local communist-linked organizations. Tom Vandenrich expressed concern over reports about funding to communist-linked organizations in the country. He revealed plans to make a dialogue with the Belgian government about the international transferring of money to organizations. Vandenrich met with a Philippine delegation from the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples on December 4, where he floated whether certain non-government organizations have ties with communist parties in Belgium. NCIP Commissioner Norberto Navarro said they are glad that Vandenrich shares the same mind against the Communist Party of the Philippines and its armed wing, the New People's Army. He reiterated that the indigenous peoples are vulnerable and easily manipulated by the communist rebels. He also said identified international NGOs have been the source of funding by these communist groups. Malacanang on Tuesday dismissed as ignorant the granting of asylum in the United States to a Filipino couple critical of the Duterte administration. On December 3rd, the San Francisco Immigration Court granted a reprieve from deportation to Rene and Joy Flores, who claim to fear persecution from the government if they are sent back home. The couple flew to the United States in 2000 to visit their relatives, but later participated in protests against President Rodrigo Duterte. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said the couple's application was highly doubtful since they have been illegally overstaying. He said their move is seemingly a stratagem of their lawyer for them to shield them from being deported. He said the granting of asylum would set a dangerous precedent to other illegal aliens who can abusively use politics as a scapegoat in violating U.S. immigration laws. Panelo also denied that critics of the administration are immediately subjected to persecution when sent back to the country. The National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict slammed the New People's Army this time for preventing a slain ranking leader from receiving a decent burial. Major General Antonio Parlade Jr. cited the case of the family of Armando Lazarte alias Pat Romano, killed in a clash with government troops in Antipolo City, Rizal. He said the family cannot recover Lazarte's body and give it a decent burial since he is known by another name in the rebel movement. Lazarte, also known as Hermin Belen, is also the leader of one of the NPA's violent groups responsible for many atrocities in the southern Tagalog area. He also scored militant group Karapatan for trying to intervene in the claiming of Belen's body, citing that it is a legal front who bails out captured CPP-NPA personalities and claim bodies of slain fighters and supporters. He said the NTF-LCAC has assured the family of the slain NPA leader in Albay that the body will be released for the proper burial rites. Philippine Airlines announces that it will offer non-stop flights between Manila and Perth, Australia, beginning March 30, 2020. Using an A321 aircraft, the new route will depart from Manila every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 12:05 a.m. and arrive in Perth Airport at 7:20 a.m. local time. Perth-Manila service will leave Perth's Terminal 1 International at 8:40 a.m. local time and touchdown in Manila at 3:50 p.m. on the same day. PAL says its Pioneer non-stop flights will allow them to promote the Philippines as a top-notch tourist experience for residents of Western Australia. By taking a non-stop flight to Perth, travelers will save at least 4.5 hours in travel time. With the addition of Perth to PAL's route, PAL will be offering a total of 19 weekly non-stop flights to the 4 destinations in Australia. A police officer who shot and seriously wounded his superior was killed after allegedly resisting arrest in Bunawan Town, Agusan del Sur on Sunday. Patrolman John Paul Guerrida died on the spot in a shootout that ensued after he refused to surrender and allegedly fired on the arresting police officers. Recovered from the scene was a .45 caliber pistol with a magazine loaded with ammunition and 2 fired cartridges. Guerrida, a member of the 2nd Agusan del Sur Provincial Mobile Force Company, was the subject of a massive manhunt since last week after he shot his superior, Police Lieutenant Colonel Rex Lomente. The Police Regional Office 13 said the action against Guerrida showed that the police will not hesitate to implement the law, even if those involved in breaking it are its members. Families affected by Typhoon Tisoy in Albay received potable water from the Philippine Red Cross. Meanwhile, the DOH extended its polio immunization program in Region 12. More on these and other news from the provinces from Janice Campe.
The Philippine Red Cross is conducting massive distribution of potable water to the victims of Typhoon Tisoy in various barangays in Albay, particularly in Daraga. This after the town's water reservoir in Barangay Budiao was damaged by floods. At least 80% of Daraga was affected by the lack of water supply from Prime Water, a concessionaire of Daraga Water District. Aside from refilling water, Red Cross is also distributing non-food items to most affected families. In Maguindanao, the Provincial Disaster Management Office handed out relief packs to over 3,000 displaced families in Sharif Aguac Town last Sunday. The families fled their homes after the military launched an all-out offensive against the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters in the peripheries of Sharif Aguac, Datu Saudi Ampatuan, Mamasapano, and Sharif Saidona Mustafa last November 24. The relief operations will continue to serve other IDPs in other evacuation sites, including those who are still staying at their relatives' homes. Meanwhile, the Department of Health will extend for 4 more days the polio immunization activities in Region 12 or Soc-Sargen in a bid to meet its target coverage in the area. DOH Region 12 will continue with the Sabayang Patak kontra Polio in the region from December 10 to 13. Based on validated data, the overall immunization coverage as of Sunday within the region reached 89% or around 512,000 children aged 5 years old and below. DOH aims to achieve at least 95% coverage to ensure herd immunity in local communities against the polio virus. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Up next, the Comelec announces the renaming of Compostella Valley into Davao de Oro. And steampunk-inspired art with a Filipino twist lords over an exhibit in Quezon City. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Nagkaroon ako ng disiplina sa sarili na hindi dapat ganyan yung gawain ng isang responsableng tao. And sa pananaw ko, ito ay nakapagbigay ng confidence sa akin kasi dati mahihain ako. Ngayon, nang naranasan itong ROTC, ito na-build yung confidence ko. Hindi ko din masasabing madali. Mahirap siya, sir, kung isipin nating mahirap. Pero kung may determinasyon ka, may disiplina sa sarili, may pangarap ka, sir, gagawin at gagawin mong lahat, sir, para makasurvive lang sa kung anumang suliranin na pupunta sa harapin mo, sir. Before I entered here in the academy, I really wanted to serve in the public. So it is my lifelong dream. As what the John F. Kennedy's famous words, sir, I always live it in my principle, sir, that do what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. So from that, sir, that is my principle, sir.
The province of Compostela Valley is now officially named Davao de Oro. The renaming of the province was officially declared by the Commission on Elections late Sunday evening following the plebiscite last Saturday. In a statement, Governor J.V. Tayron Uy said the yes votes affirmed all the efforts poured by the various sectors advocating for the renaming of the province. In a previous interview, Uy said the renaming would cement its identity of the province as part of the Davao family since its breakup from Davao del Norte in 1998. It would also pave the way for the creation of more economic zones in the province. Republic Act 11297, or an act renaming the province of Compostela Valley as the province of Davao de Oro, was signed into law on April 17 and made public on May 22nd this year. Roger Casugay, the heroic Filipino surfer, has been selected as the country's flag bearer in the closing ceremonies of the 30th SEA Games at the new Clark City in Capas, Tarlac. This as Philippine Sports Commission Chair Butch Ramirez praised Casugay's selfless act of saving his Indonesian rival Arif Nur Hidayat at the cost of his chance at a gold medal last week. Ramirez said the SEA Games is about character, resilience, love for one another, and shoring up the faith of others. Aside from the honor of hoisting the Philippine flag, Casugay will get his financial bonanza and is expected to pay a courtesy call on President Duterte after the SEA Games. Casugay won the gold medal in the longboard open event against fellow Filipino Rogelio Esquivel on Sunday. Meanwhile, Indonesian President Joko Widodo praised Casugay and thanked the Filipino surfer for his heroic act. The local government of Kawit, Cavite is inviting the public to experience Christmas this year the Caviteño way. The town kicks off its month-long celebration with a chorale competition at St. Mary Magdalene Church on Wednesday, featuring 10 entries from the town's various schools. A lecture on Maitinis, a yearly tradition highlighting the journey of St. Joseph and Virgin Mary, is set on Friday, December 13 at the audio-visual room of Museo de Emilio Aguinaldo. The Kawit Symphony of Lights, the lighting of the Liwasang Aguinaldo complex, is a must-see on Saturday, December 14. The local library at the Liwasang Aguinaldo will host a storytelling activity for kids on December 18 at 3 p.m. Following the Simbang Gabi from December 15 to 23 at the Aguinaldo Park is the Maitinis on December 24, which entails a long stretch of the procession around town. Kawit Tourism Officer Ruz Composanto said the various festivities promote the educational yet fun way to enjoy the holiday season with family and friends. Steampunk artists trooped to Vetro Gallery in Project 8 Quezon City for the opening of what is touted as the biggest steampunk art exhibit in this side of Asia. The exhibit, called Mistissimo Steampunkissimo Filipinismo, was the third steampunk pageant for the Steampunk Indio Group. Organized by advertising veteran Nestor Perez Ong and some friends, the event showcased works based in the Tarot Major Arcana but seen through the lens of steampunk goggles with a Pinoy twist. The event features more than 150 paintings and sculptures depicting a localized steampunk version of the Philippines in the late 19th century, known as the Age of Enlightenment in the Western world. Misticismo, Steampunkismo, Filipinismo is on display until January 10, 2020. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. The PNP vows to arrest more than 80 more suspects in the Maguindanao massacre who remain at large. President Duterte says he refuses to compromise with Maynilad and Manila Water over their alleged onerous water concession deals. Malacanang slams the granting of political asylum by the United States to a Filipino couple critical of the Duterte administration. And the Comelec announces the renaming of Compostella Valley into Davao de Oro. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out more news content, check our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also, watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And since the year is finally coming to a close, to make our program more personalized, remember that time is the only true currency of life. So let's not waste any time and make each moment count. And that is coming from me. That is your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.